Okay, so like I had said in my post yesterday, it was really fucking hot on Thursday, and I just did not feel up to recording. Like I had this really bad headache. There was a point last night where I almost threw up. I just was not feeling well. I laid down in my bed at one point. I was like, I normally in the house it feels really nice, like there's a nice kind of coolness to it, but no, even yesterday it was really hot. I don't know if I had a fever or something. But excuse me. What I think it was I had already recorded about 2 hours for a video, and the day before I had recorded almost another 2 hours for the same video, which I'll talk about a little bit here in a bit. But I think just all the recording and it being really hot, just it was not connecting with me. But I wanted to go ahead and still do a not car talk video. I still want to do a room talk video. So here we go. So some of the things to talk about is just how my projects are going. With House of Leaves, I'm well over halfway through the JJNW'S record, and I'm loving it. I'm really, really enjoying it. I can't wait to do a video where I talk about it. What I might actually do, because Clay has already read it, perhaps what we'll do is we'll kind of just do like a joint thing. Not quite a tier list, but it might have a setup similar to that. Maybe we'll both do it in front of the camera like this. We might just do it with audio, where we just talk about the book, we discuss it, some of the different themes, the characters, our interpretations of the house, Sampano, Johnny, etc., etc., etc. That actually sounds like a lot of fun. I might just see if I can Shanghai him to doing it. But I'm absolutely loving it. When I'm done with the Novitzin record, because I know there's a lot of other stuff in the book, like, you'll forgive me if I don't read the entire fucking index, but I don't know if I'm going to read all of the letters. I've read some of them. I kind of skimmed through them. I really don't think I just want to read like 100 pages worth of letters, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. But again, I do kind of want to skim through them again, read some of the ones that really catch my eye. Like I read the first few, I've read the last few. It's interesting shit. Like, don't get me wrong, but that's also just a lot of pages. I don't know if I really want to do all that, but I am still loving the story. In terms of Lunar 2, which I've probably said this a few times on the channel. If not, I've said it a lot of times in real life. I've been looking forward to playing this almost as soon as I finished Lunar 1. Like, all right, I don't want to say suffer through Abyss, because I still haven't done my video on it. I hope to do it soon. But I did like Abyss overall. But it was also like, I can't fucking wait to play Lunar 2. And now that I'm able to play Lunar 2, I'm barely fucking playing Lunar 2. Because I've been doing a lot of shiny on it. So I guess over Lunar really quick, I am having fun. There's still a lot of great zingers. I am still making sure I talk to all the NPCs so I can get funny nuggets of dialogue, and there have been some good ones. Story, it seems like while the first Lunar is a very, very simple story, it feels like this one's actually trying to be a little, I guess I want to say a little more interesting, and I do like that. It's still Lunar gameplay, and while like the actual menu system is vastly improved from the first game, because in the first one it was really tedious and annoying, this one's far more streamlined, which is great. I still don't love Lunar combat. I think I was more forgiving in the first game, because I'm like, okay, this is a weird system. I've never played something like it before. I don't think I really like it, but I think I was able to tolerate it. Having to do it again, I'm like, that's right. It's not great. I don't like how it's like, okay, it's movement and positioning is actually really important, but you don't have the ability to move or position your characters. They just go automatically. And it's like, okay, if character one hits an enemy, the enemy, not always, at least in Lunar 1 it wasn't always, and this one it seems more consistent, where like a physical attack will knock the enemy back, and they move a little forward, knock the enemy back. What I would like to do is, be like, well, move them at a certain spot, so, when they hit the enemy, they move toward my people, so that way when this guy moves, he can go and, like, hit the guy. I don't know if I'm super explaining it well. I might not. If you played the game, you might kind of know what I'm talking about. But, so, yeah, I'll do all that, like, when I do a full Lunar 2 review, or if you've seen my first one, I maybe explain it a little bit better there. But it really is, movement and positioning is important, and you don't have the ability to just move your people. You just kind of say, this is what I want everyone to do, and then everything will just happen. Excuse me. So sometimes, like, the shit you select is based on how everything is currently set up on the board, but by the time your character's turn comes around, that's not how things are set up on the board anymore. And your turn feels kind of wasted, and that's ass. Okay. Sorry, I just got a text from Clay, and I was just seeing what it was. But do I still like it? Yes, I'm still happy I'm playing it. I'm like 4.5 hours in. I am having a good time, but I'm also like, yeah, that's right, combat kind of sucks, and I can just play Pokemon. So, Jose borrowed my copy of Violet. Is it when he's like, okay, I'm having trouble getting all the decks through not playing the game and just doing Pokemon Home, which, for context, he was able to get everything from Sword and Shield without ever playing the game, and that mad respect on that. But so he's like, okay, let me actually play the fucking game. So he transferred some Pokemon over, steamrolled the game. He's like, cool, now I can shiny hunt. And seeing Jose play Pokemon made me just go, fuck, I really want to play some Pokemon. So while he's borrowing my copy of Violet, I booted up my copy of Arceus and said, I'm going to go ahead and get the shiny charm. Only took a couple days, because I think a lot of the work had already been done. But I was able to do that. The shinies I've caught, let's see, I think it's Staravia, a Hisuian Zorua, excuse me, Apom, which is my second shiny Apom. Who was after Apom? Here, I think I wrote it down. Oh, that's right, it was Tangela before Apom, because that was one that Jose really wanted, so I traded that to him. That's right, it was Apom, Munchlax, and Alpha Alakazam, which is my only shiny Alpha, which I think is really cool. I love that. A shiny Luxray, which I've already got quite a few Shinxes from Pokemon Go, and I think there was one I also caught in the game. I got a shiny Finneon, which I really like. Finneon's one of those Pokemon where I can't really explain why I like it. I just kind of do. Like, it's a very basic, just water fish. There's nothing that special about it, but I kind of dig it. And Rowlet, because I caught a Rowlet yesterday or the day before. Now, some of these Pokemon, I've kept the majority of them, but others, I'm like, okay, it's time to wheel and deal and just, like, try to get some other shit. So, Jose had already traded me a Hisuian Zorua, so I'm like, cool, now I have one of my own, so I can flip Jose's. So I flipped Jose's, I think, for a Koraidon, which I then flipped for a shiny 3-segmented Dunsparce, so I felt really good about that one. The Tangela I traded to Jose for a Ninetales, and I had gotten, because he wants shiny grass types, and I had an Amoonguss already from Violet that I wanted to keep because I really like shiny Amoonguss. I'm like, you know what? This is a Pokemon he really wants. Let me trade it to him. He gave me a Hisuian Sneasel, which I already had, so I flipped the Hisuian Sneasel for, I believe, a Miraidon, which I then flipped for a shiny Ho-Oh. I'm like, oh, this is fun. Like, you know, the actual, like, grind of getting shinies, it could just be a long time of doing nothing, but when you actually get it, it feels really good. But then if it's something you're like, I don't super want this, but maybe someone else does, you start, like to say, wheeling and dealing, and just like, all right, I'm going to flip this and get that, and I'll flip that and get that. Like, oh, this is what the stock market must feel like when you have money. Oh, this is great. I love this. This might be a little more fun than Lunar 2's combat. But, there's that. In terms of writing, I did finish that draft. Fucking finally. It's been like 3.5 years. But I finally finished that draft, I think. But now I actually get to edit it. And I have been editing it. It's 450 pages. I'm on page like 64, 65. It's definitely going to take a while. I'm going to be here a while. But it is something I do enjoy doing. And as I'm doing so, I'm already finding shit that needs to be corrected. It's like, yeah, that's like, I don't think that word really works. Those sentences don't really flow together. Let's cut that. I'm finding a lot of times where quotation marks are backwards. Like, there should be, like, here's the start of the sentence. The quotation mark should be like this, but instead it's like this. And I don't know why that kept happening. Like, okay, but we could fix this. But, and there's also other things. I'm like, oh, that probably should have been up here, to make sure, like, this element of the story is explained a little better, like, the kind of seeds of that make more sense, etc., keeping shit consistent. I enjoy it a lot. I really do. So in terms of other videos, like I said, I have my notes written for Tales of the Abyss. I just haven't sat down to record it yet. I was kind of thinking about doing it today, but I don't think I will. A, because of all the recording I did yesterday and the day before, and two, I know later today I'm going to go see a movie. So if yesterday I'm like, I kind of got screen fucked, I don't want to do that when I'm going to go see a movie. Speaking of which, it's going to be Asteroid City, which is the new Wes Anderson. It's not that I'm a big Wes Anderson guy. I think I've only seen 2 of his movies. It was Grand Budapest Hotel and The French Connection. But I enjoyed them both. And I'm going to be going with a group of friends. So I feel like I'm going to have a good time. But the other fucking video I recorded, not the Nintendo Direct one, but that was 10, 15 minutes. I don't think it was that long. And, I had fun doing it. I had fun watching the Direct. But I recorded my Umineko video. My fucking Sea Cats video. It's 4 hours. It is 3 hours, 51 minutes, and I think 51 seconds. I recorded, it was 130 minutes yesterday. Which means that's 2 hours, 10 minutes. So then I think it was an hour and 40 minutes the day before. And, God, it took so long yesterday to actually... So, I had to, record everything, then get it all onto my computer, then get it all onto the video editor, and then actually, combine them all. That took, 4 hours just to actually get the fucking thing to render. But it has. I currently have it uploading. And then when it does, I'm going to keep it private for a bit, just so I can timestamp everything, because it's a 4-hour video. If you want to know specifically, me talking about this book, or my overall thoughts, I feel like in a 4-hour video, I kind of owe it to whoever watches it to timestamp it. But, hey, I think it said it's going to take 3 hours just to upload it. And I don't know what time it is right now. It's 10:15 or so. So hopefully before, I think we're going to go see the movie at 7. It's going to take an hour to get there. So we'll probably leave around 6-ish, 5:45-ish. I should be able to get it up before. Sorry, I just realized how that sounded. But I should be able to get the video uploaded before I head out for that. But it's gonna be an all-day thing. Oh, is there anything else I really wanted to say? Oh, I did want to bring up the One Piece trailer. So I'm not a big One Piece guy. Not to say I dislike it or anything. I remember a few years ago trying to read it, and I got through Alabasta, and I was loving it. And then I just stopped, and there was no real reason for it. It wasn't nah, I'm good. I just blah, blah, blah. Or nah, this sucks. I just didn't pick it back up. Which I had said last year that my New Year's resolution was all right, 2023, I'm reading One Piece. It's on the list. I don't know when I'm going to do it. It might actually end up being 2024. But regardless, I am very interested in the manga. The live action show, I don't know. I've heard that Oda has signed off on it, but Owen Colfer signed off on the Artemis Fowl movie, and it's dog shit. I heard that the author of The Witcher signed off on the Netflix show, which I haven't read the books, I haven't seen the show, but everything I've heard is that no one likes it. People who read the books hate the show. So just because the author has given their approval doesn't necessarily mean the work will be good. The trailer... I saw the fucking Meat Canyon video when he's talking about it, where he just kept comparing it to Mike Myers' Cat in the Hat, which is now just what I think of when I think of that One Piece show. But overall, I think it looks... I don't know. I don't know if it looks fine. I don't know if it looks kind of good. I don't know if it looks bad. Buggy was the most terrifying thing I'd ever seen. That is the part, the 2 parts of the trailer that stick out in my head is... Luffy stretching and yelling "Gum Gum Pistol," also because Meat Canyon just kept playing that over and over in his trailer or in his video and kept comparing it to Mike Myers' Cat in the Hat. But also just the shot of Buggy, he was how many nightmares is this thing gonna give me? And surprisingly, it's 0 so far, but it can always change. That number, it's only up from here, buddy. But I hope it's good. I hope for One Piece fans, like, they get a cool live action version of the show. I hope people watch it and go, wait, this is kind of dope. Let me read the manga. And hopefully, if it is really good, and pave the way for good anime adaptations. Like, you know what? Let me say it like this. If this is really good, and Netflix or other companies are like, hey, maybe if we get people who like really know the source material and we get the creator on board, we can make a faithful adaptation and fans will like it. And if fans like it, it will make us money. Maybe I can get a live action Sea Cats adaptation that's really good and really faithful. Not to say, now, certainly Sea Cats does not need one. And I feel like that's another thing to keep in mind. It's like a book getting a movie or like an anime getting like a live action adaptation. If the source material is fantastic, it doesn't need an adaptation. But for me personally, it's like when I really love something, unless it's something like House of Leaves or like I don't know how to adapt this, I could see it working as like a VN. Or if you did do a live action version, it would be like so janky, like shit. You would just have like a random scene of Karen talking to Novitzin, like, hey, the water heater's out. You'd immediately cut to Johnny doing completely other shit and telling all of his stories that, like, his fucking tangent about that, and then you would immediately cut back to Karen and Novitzin. You could do it. It would be weird as hell, but, I mean, that is House of Leaves, so I guess it makes sense. And then Zampania would just be the narrator of the Novitzin record story. Like, it's possible, but it would just be, I don't know, it would almost be off-putting with just, like, how janky it would feel. Like, I feel like it's the kind of jank that does work better in a written format. But to my point, there are some things where I'm like, I would love to see an adaptation of this just because I love the source material so much, and I would like to see another spin on it. But also, if I never see a live action version of Sea Cats, if I never see a live action version of Madoka Magica, it's not going to break my heart because I have the source